Birdwatching is a very popular hobby. Some studies have shown that up to 40 million people in North America and the United States will admit to having looked at birds at some point during their lives. And some call themselves bird watchers. Some of the more energetic, enthusiastic people like me, we call it birding. It can resemble a sport at times, and we go out and try to see as many birds as possible in a single day. And other people just like to watch birds at their feeders, like the feeders here at the E.L. Johnson Nature Center, which are fairly active most times when we put seed out for them. A lot of people start out by watching feeder birds or backyard birds, and there are a lot of interesting birds that can be identified throughout the summer, and especially in the wintertime when birds come from farther north. We can learn about these birds using a variety of different techniques, looking at bird books. There are some apps available and so forth, and we'll talk about those a little bit later. I started bird watching when I was 11 years old, and I had an uncle who was very enthusiastic about bird watching. He was a World War II veteran, and he got to watch birds in the few minutes of spare time he had when he was stationed overseas in the Philippines and in New Guinea. And he told me some interesting stories about all the wonderful birds that he saw there. Some of them might not even be known to science because those areas are not very well known. And so I got very, very curious and very interested in birds when I was about your age. And I started studying on my own. I started learning bird songs, and at the time there were no apps, there were no computers around. So I would just go out and look at birds on my own. And so as a result, I got pretty good at listening to bird songs, which is a good thing to do when you're young because your brain is better formed for learning bird songs when you're before you're a teenager. And you can detect more birds by ear than you can by sight. So I've gone on to become a little bit more enthusiastic, and I've been bird watching in all 50 states, and I've been bird watching with my wife in 28 countries around the world over the last few decades. So, and I have seen a total of almost 4,000 of the world's 10,000 bird species. In Michigan, there are about 400 species of birds that have been recorded, and here at the Nature Center, I think our bird list is somewhere around 200 species. So this is a very good spot to come bird watching. It makes me sad that you guys can't be here with me on the trails, but I'm happy that I can bring some of this to you on video and through the internet. So hopefully we'll be able to learn a few things about some birds by observing them, and a little bit later by catching a few birds and banding them, and learning about how scientists study birds in greater detail. When you're out bird watching, you're looking everywhere for birds. Down low on the ground, out over water bodies, on the trunks of trees, and even way up high in the treetops. Right now I can hear a ruby-crowned kinglet singing up there, and I can hear a robin off in the distance, as well as common grackles and blue jays, and a few other species. Walking through the woods slowly and quietly is the best way to see more birds. It's late April, before our bird banding program is started, and so we have some early migrants right now. I'm hearing tufted titmouse, which is a locally nesting species, singing. I'm also hearing lots of ruby-crowned kinglets, which are early migrants. Up ahead of me in the trail, I see an American robin. And of course, I can hear the traffic noise from Telegraph Road nearby and an airplane flying over, which tells me that I'm not very far from civilization. And this small 40-acre patch of the E.L. Johnson Nature Center is a very important place for migrating birds to rest and for nesting birds to raise their young. Bird watching is a hobby that you can do anytime, anywhere. All you need is a pair of eyes and a pair of ears. Even when I'm out grocery shopping, I can see the birds that are flying around in the parking lot or overhead, and I can hear the birds that are singing nearby. But if you really want to get serious about bird watching, you probably want a pair of binoculars so that you can bring the birds closer to your eyes with the magnification of your binoculars. There are a lot of different binoculars available, some of them as cheap as maybe $100, and if you're going to take this up as a profession like I have, you can spend over $1,000 for a pair of binoculars. As a beginner, you probably don't want to spend that much, but these are the binoculars that I have, and they're very durable and waterproof and have very good ability to see birds in dim light. Now, a pair of binoculars has two eyepieces and two objective lenses and a focusing ring on the top. Usually most binoculars also have an ability to adjust the two different eyes because people's eyes are not the same. They don't focus the same, so there's an adjustment. They also have an adjustment to spread them apart and closer together for your eyes. So when you put the binoculars up to your eyes, if you see two separate holes of light, you have them too far apart. You push them together until you see one solid view, and then that's perfect for your eyes. Now, for younger bird watchers, it's often a good idea to get a pair of smaller binoculars. A pair like this that I keep in my glove box just for emergency bird watching situations has eyepieces that are a little bit closer together, because when you're younger your eyes are closer together, and when you get older your head gets bigger basically and your eyes get farther apart. So it's a good idea to start with one pair of binoculars. These I think I bought 35 years ago. They were less than $100. So there are a lot of good binoculars available. When you're bird watching and you're looking at birds, you're always looking for movement and you're listening for sounds and trying to look and see where the birds are. Most of the time you are not putting your binoculars up to your eyes and searching around. That's a good way to get dizzy and sick maybe. What you're going to do is you're going to look around, and when you think you see where a bird is, you're going to put your eyes on that. Don't move your eyes, don't move your head, just bring the binoculars right up to your eyes and then focus, and the bird should be right in your field of view. So that's the basics of how to use binoculars. So we're going to go out on the trails and see if we can see some birds now.